right, word on the street is Errol Spence is fighting Tszyu next. So I don't really seem too surprised. But let's go.
I think Paulie just mentioned that being in Australia, he's heard about Spence maybe versus Tszyu, which I actually heard that too last night. I heard that too. So that's a possibility.
So that's Robert Garcia. Paulie said that he heard Tim and Tszyu versus Errol Spence, and now you got Robert Garcia saying from a totally different side that he heard Tszyu versus Errol Spence. So it makes sense, you know. Maybe it happens in Australia. I know people are gonna be like, well, you know, I thought Errol Spence didn't say that y'all don't need no tune-ups. You know, at the end of the day, when you out the game that long, I mean, what do you expect? You know, what do you expect? So at the end of I mean, y'all can say whatever you want to say, but I think he deserved a tune-up. I know he don't want to leave an everlasting taste in people's mouths with the Crawford fight. Nobody wants to go out like he went out versus Terrence Crawford and that be what they remember for. I think he also wanted to be pushed to the Hall of Fame. I believe Tszyu his last fight. Shit, who did Tszyu fight his last fight? I didn't watch it, but I know it was a real low-key fight, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. I remember his former corner, he's training with Pedro Diaz. He used to train Guillermo Rigondeaux and somebody else too, you know, Anthony Velasquez. He was at 18-0, and Tszyu won a wide unanimous decision. But, you know, I didn't talk about this, but in one of the articles, it was shared in the Discord that Tszyu, his former corner, was mad that he switched to Pedro Diaz and they got rid of him, and they called him soft. Yeah, they called him soft. Soft for quitting versus Sebastian Fondor. So obviously there were some sour grapes there. Obviously, you know how people feel, you know, when you go through turmoil or you go through something, you can see how people feel about you. You know, you ain't never did shit, you wasn't shit, but, you know, honestly, they both, the loser should retire. I'm gonna just throw it out there right now. The loser should retire. I'm not going to hold you up. The loser should retire. You know, that's my personal opinion on it. The loser should retire. I think they both done. I think they both finished. I think they both seen better days. But for Errol Spence, he look in shape. So that him being in shape right then and there, that should have let people know. Him being in immaculate shape should have let people know that you know, that should have let people know right then and there that he probably was preparing to come back into the ring. So I just know he didn't want to leave that Crawford fight with sour grapes, you know, and also seeing how great Terrence Crawford was and went over and beat Canelo. I mean, good. And then also PBC, they just can't be, you know, they can't be so mad at him. If they want to survive and continue, they need their biggest and brightest. So if I had to guess, he's probably going to fight some type of catch weight and maybe even try to get a belt at 160 pounds. You know, so that's my opinion on it. But hey, shout out to him. So hopefully, you know, they can make it to the ring. He can make it to the ring. It was rumors that, you know, rumors that, you know, he couldn't get cleared because of his eye. And there's just a lot of rumors going around. He's in the doghouse with Al, which I kind of know that to be true. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a good fight. They both on the same level, and the loser literally should retire. The loser should retire. You know, and that's just the God honest truth. The loser should retire. You know, so at one point, this fight could have been for the belt. It could have been, to some people's opinion, it could have been for 168 pound, 154 pound supremacy. You know, and that's not the case. That's not the case. But, you know, still a good fight. You know, and then maybe I think after this, it could be a point where he might fight Sebastian Fondor. I don't think that's what he's gonna be aiming for, but I think it's more of a going up to the 154-pound limit. Adames dropping a belt and he coming up and get a belt from Carlos Adames. That's my opinion on it. I think that might be the plan, to get a belt at 160 pounds. I don't see him getting in the ring and taking on taking on Sebastian Fondor. It just don't financially make sense. That's my opinion. It just don't financially make sense. He don't move no tickets, and maybe he might be prepared to get in there. He might be prepared to get in there with what's old buddy name? Oh man, I can't think of dog name. He might be prepared to get in there with shit, man. What's old buddy name? Could be Zayas, could be Virgil Ortiz. Maybe he ending up for a Virgil Ortiz fight. So, I mean, he got options, but I don't see how Tim Tszyu looked his last fight, but I heard it wasn't that good. So, if and also the $1 million question is, who training Errol? That's a great question. Who training Errol? So that's another great question. Who training Errol? Who getting out here and who training them? So, that's just another mystery. So who training them? Now I know Roy said he wasn't necessarily training them. He wanted to help him. Roy said he wanted to help him. So I mean, I don't know. I know they said Frank working with Buddy McGurf. That's what they said. So could he be working with Buddy McGurf? Could be. So, but ultimately, I think it's a good fight. Good comeback fight. It might be in Australia. So if that's the case, Australia government probably put the money up and they're willing to do the fight. So it could be in Australia. So, but honestly, I think I'm very interested to see how he bounced back. And then also, it might even be a case where, he may get in there and he may turn around and fight Jermell Charlo. He might get in there and fight Jermell Charlo. So, for the most part, maybe he's ready to get back in the game. So, maybe he might come up short. But I think, first and foremost, I don't think he wants to be remembered for what happened with Errol Spit with Terrence Crawford, and I also think he wants to get into the Hall of Fame. I think he wants to be in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, I think he wants to be in the Hall of Fame. So, and ain't nothing wrong with that. So, I think the sport is good with him coming back. I think, for Tim Tszyu, you gotta look at it too, like shit. I could revive my career. So, good fight. Hopefully they don't put it behind the paywall. That's what you're hoping. They don't put this shit behind the paywall, but they most likely probably will put it behind the paywall. You hope that ain't the case. So, yeah, but it is what it is, or it is what it ain't. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live or drop video. Other than that, man, Look forward to it if the rumors are true.
Got our official sponsor, Greenwood Stock Trading. If you